Today, I'm taking a look at another handheld that Gamma OS Nano V14 has come to. This is the MagicX 028, a handheld you can no longer buy from MagicX. You might be able to pick it up on AliExpress or the secondary market. And if you can find one of these, I do suggest you get it because it's a very well-built handheld that has now Gamma OS V1.4 Nano that brings a lot to it. Much like the Nintendo DS, Ambernic RGDS that we looked at with the Gamma OS Nano, this has the same on a card. It lives on a card. Now, this is a handheld that did not have touchscreen. So Android never made a lot of sense for this until now. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We're going to take a dive and look at OS Nano V1.4 on the MagicX 028. Boy, that's a mouthful, which can no longer be bought new from MagicX. But we're also going to talk about the follow-up they're working on, which may be a bigger version with a better screen. Let's go. All right, so first, a refresher. Let's take a look at a few of this that we did last year, which we're going to take a look at today. So, are the ghosts of past going to continue, or has MagicX overcome their wonky start? Let's find out. So, the MagicX Mini 028 is finally here. We finally got our hands on it, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the journey of this. You saw in the introduction the journey that this company has gone through, this company that first produced the XU10 and then followed up with the Mini M, which was flagged by lots of controversy. This is the first crowd-developed handheld. If you had spent any time in the Discord, by the way, join the Retro Handhelds Discord. It's a great community. There's a lot of other great creators in that community. But if you'd spent any time in that community, you would have seen the dedication that the developers and the representatives in that Discord put into helping to not only design this handheld, but future handhelds that are coming up. And some of the things that are really amazing about this device are, first of all, the colors. Colors, as you can see on the box here, we ended up with this transparent blue, they're calling it, kind of like a glacier. We have the awesome transparent purple, and then we have the black unit of the three. And those were the three most popular colors. If this thing sells very well, there could be future colors in the future. So this thing also has rectified a lot of the mistakes of the past. One of the big criticisms early on of the Mini M was that the SD card stuck out. So you can see the SD card sticks out on the side here, and they took the criticism of that to make sure that it's not doing that. Now, guys, when a company like this opens up and produces a mold, it's very expensive to produce a mold. And you invest that money in the mold, hoping you'll get a return by selling many more of those in the future. So to just simply change this mold and keep this from happening would have been a huge investment. And so instead of simply doing that, they decided to do more. They decided to improve this in more ways. And this is some really good hardware. The sticks, like the Mini M before it, are some of the best sticks on a small handheld you can get. I love these sticks. I adore these sticks. They're really, really good. The buttons are well done. They have a nice look and design to them. They're a little more, I'd say they're about the same. They're a little bit more quiet, a little more, but they're definitely more premium feeling. They have a nicer, more refined touch to them. The D-pad is just as good as the original. It was a good D-pad on the original. We liked it a lot. But what really is impressive are these shoulder buttons. These shoulder buttons have a new texture to them that the original did not have. And we already liked the original anyways. So, but with this new texture on it, it just gives a nice little touch to it. And these are quiet. They're just so quiet with that raised lip. So we have basically a very refined version 2, but instead of just being version 2, this is a whole new handheld, guys, because it has that all-winner A133P inside of it, the same one we've seen in the Smart Pro and the Smart Brick from TrimUI. And that is turning out to become a very good CPU. Now, our good friend Zoo has already opened it up and, shown that it is actually an all-winner 133P. So far, no controversy there. The company has come through on the promises that they put forward to make sure that they launch the product properly. Now, let's talk about some things that could be considered a little bit unfavorable at this point. While this has Android, it doesn't have a touch screen. And while they created their own software, the Dawn Launcher, which I actually like, and it's based heavily on imitating or taking or borrowing from Dajicho a lot of elements, it still is not as good effective as something like Gamma has done with his Gamma OS Core. Mainly because that's based on Android TV, and I believe this is just based on the Android you would ship in your mobile phones. So that kind of is a big kind of sticking point at this point. Android is not really fun to use on this. I did get a little better with it discovering that the menu button is effective for moving back. Now, if you treat this thing just as a gaming handheld, which it really should be, a pocketable, quick gaming handheld, the Dawn Launcher is effectively set up. This ships with games, they're scraped, the menu quickly goes into RetroArch. It is easy and effective to scroll through the games. If you just do that, you're fine. It's when you start diving into using Android apps and trying to use this like an Android device that it gets to be unfun. But guys, I'm really encouraging you, don't try to use this like that. Use it like it's shipped. This is a great device to give to somebody that doesn't want to tinker, that just wants to grab games and go and play. It's what it is. It's pocketable. It's at a great price. It comes with nice games. The Dawn Launcher is in its very first initiation. We also have the company out there soliciting, feedback as shill for this company. I may sound like I'm really promoting them. I'm going to be very critical of them. I'm going to hold them accountable because I think we have some visionaries in this company. But got to talk the talk, got to walk the walk. So let's hope that they deliver on this. But let me say that in my unboxing of this and my initial use of this in the first 24 hours, this is a refined, improved, good product from MagicX. I think it's well worth the price. It's unfortunate this launched with these tariffs and we're not sure how all this is going to change the pricing structure of this. But for now, guys, I got to say, I like it. I'm having fun. This is the best 2.8-inch handheld, period. For right now, we're going to continue to do this. We'll give it a full review later after using this for a month or so. But for right now, they have made on all their promises. They have a very attractive box. They have a new Dawn Launcher. They're investing in the future, guys. They're spending the money, and I hope that the market responds. I understand that many of you are still critical of the past, as you should be, but check this out. I think you'll enjoy it. Well, so that's it. The biggest flaw I found in this thing is if you try to use it like Android, you're not going to have any fun. But if you just use it like they sent it to you, you just play the games and you're not worried with tinkering and you're not trying to change, all this stuff in it, you're going to enjoy it. So again, this is really good to give to somebody that just wants to pick up and play. Hopefully, over time, this price can go down a little bit and maybe these tariffs can go back away, but we'll see. So yeah, we liked it, but we didn't like the Android. And now, today, we're talking about how it feels more like an Android. Let's revisit. But to refresh, this is running the all-winner A133P. Now, that is a CPU that we've seen in many handhelds. And yes, there's some Android builds for it. This initially shipped with a 2.8-inch screen. It was not a touch screen. A curious choice at the time for Android, but they found a way to make it work using their software development that they built for it. It wasn't terrible, it was actually usable, but it could have been better. Later on, we had some other implementation of custom firmware, but now we have Gamma Nano V1.4. Now, if you saw my previous video, we did an expose of this on the Anbernic RGDS, which showed the abilities of it. Now, that's a dual screen system and a little different. This, though, lives on the SD card It is really, really amazing because it brings a whole new level. And yes, it has all of the same similar abilities that you saw or we saw in the Amaranth RGDS. Let's go over those first. Hey, sorry to interrupt the video, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, AliExpress. As you know, they've been a great partner for us and they have some great sales coming up this month. In fact, check below for the codes and links to the best sales. Follow me on X, where you can always get the best deals, as well as YouTube community below. But I wanted to share with you a product that has got me all tied up. That's right. Look at this. Oh my God, if you're a fidgeter like me, if you have a lot of nervous energy and you like lights and clicky sounds, look at this little keychain. It is a little keychain with clicky keyboard caps that light up and look really cool. And you can get one of these at a very, very modest price. In fact, you can get a set of two like I did to give to your wife or partner. These are pretty neat. They're very loud and they will be annoying to some people, but for me, oh, so satisfying to sit here and click this thing. There's also a lot of other great products you can pick up, including many great handhelds. There are so many out right now, some great ones. Check out our previous reviews. But again, we want to thank AliExpress for always being a partner with us and supporting the channel so I can bring this content to you guys. Anyways, back to the show. First, you get 3 themes. That's right, 3 different ways to display the OS. We have the fully rebuilt imitation of the PlayStation 3's cross-media bar. This is an amazing familiar system that actually looks fantastic on this small screen. I was a little bit worried about how it would actually look since this is, again, a small screen. However, the PPI on this is enough and it's clear enough, and Gamma has made this system fluid enough that it looks really good and is easy enough to use. I found that it's probably my favorite for this system. However, we can still also use the Nintendo DSi style for this as well, which brings a familiarity to it as well, except you're missing the dual screen. This one also works pretty well. It's a little less exciting looking, but it's fluid and works and has all of the same functions that you would get in the first version, the cross-media bar. And then finally, for those of you that want the just very basic, most basic of simplicity, a minimal style, we do have a minimal style here, which is basically just text and gets you straight into the games and all of the functions. So again, we do have a whole set of themes here, which brings a new life to this thing and gives it a whole lot more excitement. Now, yes, you can still boot into the original OS by just taking the card out, which is awesome. So you're not really risking anything by doing this. Now, for those of you that don't remember, this is something that Gamma gives away for free after 60 to 90 days. If you want to see it and use it earlier, become a supporter, go down to the link below, join his Patreon, and try out this awesome software. Now, let's talk about the other things that it does. It brings a whole host of more improvements to the Android ecosystem. For one thing, Android is built for phones. It's not really built for gaming systems. And it comes with a lot of bloat and things that are unnecessary for just playing your games. And this is one of the advantages of using something like Gamma OS. It really improves the system by removing all of the unnecessary bloat and stuff that is not needed to really get you into gaming. This is not a phone after all. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't need. He also works on improving the battery and efficiency and making this thing work a whole lot better. In my testing of using this across multiple devices, I have seen massive improvements in a lot of things. Now, full transparency, Gamma is a one-person team. Some of the things he fixes make other problems occur. Over time, I have seen some things come through that are not quite as favorable. But I'll take this and his efforts any day over the stock OS, which admittedly was okay, but is not as good as this. And you really should see the games on this screen. Now, let's talk about what's coming, because MagicX is working on a follow-up of sorts to this handheld. This handheld is a little small for some people with the screen, and they have been able to obtain a custom OLED 3.3-inch screen that they're going to put into a very familiar form factor that's looking a lot like this. And I think that's a very wise and smart choice. It's a really good choice for me. I think that that's going to be a winner there. Now, early renders have caused a little bit of controversy because some people are not happy with the screen to bezel ratio, and there's a lot of development that could change. But for now, they're working on a 3.3-inch version of something like this with a custom OLED screen and many different CPUs. Not just one, but I'm really hoping that we get an all-winner A133P version because I think it would be perfect to just slot in Gamma OS into this and use it. This is really good. We have functions like Quick Start. If you want to have it auto start on the game you did, there's so many ways to make your experience better. It is just really good. So take a look at my previous video for the Anbernic RGDS where I go over a little more in depth over this system, but Gamma OS Nano V14 is here. It's on this one. It's amazing. Check it out. And if you haven't, go check out my full review of this. Remember to hug your loved ones. Love your hugged ones because tomorrow's never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Dead Fred out.